Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It's springtime in Punjab. Yes, finally. It's beautiful weather now. Just a few days ago, myself and my husband got to go to Gurdwara Kila Sahib, which is a historical Gurdwara in Batinda. And we've been in talks about teaching children there. We've got about 1,200 kids lined up, all excited to learn about Sikhi, so really excited about that. And at that time there was loads of kite flying, which I'd never seen before, but apparently it's traditional to do that at the start of spring.
The kite flying season is in full swing.
So this is the Than, this is the place where Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj came.
Really happy today because we've had lovely friends come and visit us from UK, and I haven't seen Benji, I haven't seen for 2 years, so it's been brilliant. We got to show them around the Asthan where we're staying. The female saint Biba Nihal Kaur, whose birth is from here, we got to show her the seva that's been carried out there, how Biba Ji stayed there for 51 years, and like so many beautiful things happened there. She's been meditation, and then also the next building next to it where she stayed for 17 years alongside her sister, and her room's there, her old like a walking stick kind of thing is there. You know, the beautiful things that took place there. So we got to share that with this lovely family, and then also share our projects, because we spent all week working with architects for the academy that we announced last time, and also just generally about Punjab, because Benji's lived in Punjab.
ਕੱਟਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੱਟ ਦਿੱਤੇ, ਤੇ ਵੀ ਬਾਈ ਲੰਗਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਸਤ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਦੱਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਛੋਟੇ ਕੱਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਤੇ ਵੀ ਬਾਈ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਿੱਕਾ ਸਿੰਘ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਬਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੈ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਬਾਲੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਕੱਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਤੇ ਨੈਕ ਕੱਟ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਸੀ, ਦੇ ਉਹ ਲਾਈਕ ਟੂ ਸ਼ੋ ਹਨ ਬੀਬਾ ਜੀ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਲੇ ਕੱਟ ਛੋਟੇ ਆ, ਦੇਖਾ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਤਾਰ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬੀਬਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਟੈਂਡ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ, ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ, ਦੇਖੋ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੈੱਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਲੰਬੇ ਸੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ, ਪੂਰੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ, 50 ਬਾਲੇ ਆ these days ਬਾਲੇ ਤਾਂ they live longer.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੋਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਕਰ ਵੀ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਵੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੇਵਾ ਸਾਰੀ ਜੁੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਸਾਡੇ ਹੈਪੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਮੇਨ ਨੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੀਬਾ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਕੌਰ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਸਥਾਨ ਹੈ, ਉੱਥੇ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ
I reckon I did some vlogs.
Guys, I'm really happy today because we've got Manvinder Benji over from Nottingham, UK, although she's actually from New York.
From America, yeah.
From America, New York. She's married to Gurjeet Baji Nottingham, and they've all come as a family to see us today. So we're really happy. So I've grabbed Benji today because she's actually lived here in India as a 16-year-old. So I'm going to ask a few questions. She's laughing her head off. She's finding this really weird. Okay, but you moved here when you were 16. Why did you come here?
So yeah, I moved to Amritsar to start medical school when I was 16, and I actually celebrated my first birthday here when I was 17. And it's a 5.5-year program, and it was a huge culture shock when I moved here.
Have you ever been here before?
I visited once, just once.
Once?
Yeah, for 2 weeks for a wedding.
And how old were you
when I was
then?
at that time, I think it was like 14.
Oh my God! So why did you move?
I don't know. I just did. Well, my parents were like, "Yeah, you should do that." So it's kind of like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a huge culture shock. I remember when I was talking in Punjabi with someone, and this girl was like kind of making fun of me for speaking Punjabi. She's like, "Oh, tanu Punjabi aandi hai?" And I was like, "Yeah." And there's a newspaper there, and then I was like reading something on that. I was like, "Mera padni nahi aandi hai," because like, yeah, she was trying to like say like, "Oh, you really don't know." And I'm like, "No, I do know Punjabi." And then she's like, "Tu Punjabi padh hi lendi akhbar?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then she's like, I was like, "Tanu nahi aandi?" And then she's like, "Nahi, ਅਸੀਂ ਲੁਧਿਆਣੇ Hindi बोलते हैं ਤੇ Hindi पढ़ते हैं." I was like, "What?"
Okay, see, this is one of the issues here, guys. Punjabi language is diminishing.
Yeah.
People are sticking to Hindi, and obviously the rest of the people just want to get out and go to Western countries.
Yeah. Everyone has this notion that like abroad it's like this like fantastic gold paved, land where everything's just like green, and they don't understand like how much work you have to put in to even get that, and stuff that they want is available here too. You just have to know where to go.
That's it. And making opportunities available. I think especially we were talking earlier, and Benji was saying how this south part of Malwa in Punjab is not developed, and that's the projects we were showing Benji and Baji and the family with the academy and other projects that we're trying to get employment in this area for Nodwan. But would you recommend that? So you stayed it for 6 years?
Yes, almost 6 years.
Wow.
It's a 5.5-year program, and then I stayed a little bit longer just to like wrap up paperwork and stuff like that, get my degree and everything like that. Would I recommend it? It depends on your personality.
Yes.
I feel like if you're a super like adventurous person, willing to adapt, then it's easy. For me, it was fairly easy. I know others who had a really hard time.
So did others come from
Yeah,
the West as well?
So typically in a class, like my class had 50 students, 50 medical students, and 8 of those students would be from abroad. So whether that's Canada or America, mostly America and Canada.
Okay.
I know some schools who had people from England and some from, I think, Malaysia and Singapore as well.
I didn't even know this was a thing that people come to India to study. Okay.
And my class is small, so we only had 8, but others, like, I think the GMC programs have 150 students in there, so they have about 30 international students.
Okay.
Yeah. Would I recommend it? Overall, I would say if you're willing to adjust and sort of learn the ways here, then yeah, you can do it. If you're not one who likes to get out of the circle, get out of the bubble or whatever they say,
Your comfort zone.
then it'll be really hard. I wouldn't recommend that.
And I think that's what we've been talking on other vlogs, is about the mindset. It's all about mindset, and you can take that anywhere in the world. So it is an opportunity to develop that mindset, but you have to be willing to.
Yeah. And then even like living wise, so we lived in the hostel on campus, or hostel, as they say here, and food was provided for us, all 3 meals. It wasn't the greatest, but it was just like, all right, it's fine. Whenever we could, we would go out to eat, like Pizza Hut, Domino's, go to like, have buffet at like some fancy hotel or something like that. I used to do that a lot, which helped a lot. So for the hostel room, like a lot of girls, because on the weekends, whenever we'd be off from school, from class, they would go home, but I would stay in the hostel all the time, whether it's holidays. Like there were some times like Vaisakhi, Gurpurab, Bandi Chhod Divas, Diwali, like the entire campus would be gone. Everyone would be home, and I wouldn't have any place to go. I'm not going to fly back to America for like the weekend, so I'd stay on campus by myself. So I made sure I set up my room really nicely. It was like this like And this lush carpet, beautiful curtains, awesome bedding, like made it so super comfortable, made it so homely, which helped so much. Like I made it like this little paradise of mine.
Your sanctuary.
Yeah, so that helped a lot too. So just learning to make your place comfortable for yourself helps a lot too.
So are you doing that in the UK now?
My husband's done it already.
I love
He's
it.
made it really comfortable.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
ਕਿਵੇਂ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ?
ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਮੇਲੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸ ਸਥਾਨ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਆਇਆ ਜੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਦੇ ਆਏ ਆ 4-5 ਘੰਟੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਤਿਆਰੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਰ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਮਨ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਸਥਾਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਜਾਣ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੇ ਪਰ ਮਜਬੂਰੀ ਬਸ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਕਾਰਜਾਂ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਵੀ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸੋ ਇਹ
ਹਾਏ
ਬੇਨਤੀ
ਮੇਰੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਹਾਏ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਰੂਹ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਅ ਚੜਿਆ ਸੀ ਕੇਸ ਰੱਖਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ
ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਸੂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਰਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਕਾਰਜ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਂਭ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਮੁਲਕ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਠਹਿਰ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਗਨ ਇਸ ਪਾਸੇ ਜੋੜ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੈ
ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਸਾਂ
ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਸਮੇਤ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਬੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ
ਇਹ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬੜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਨਿਭਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਯਾਤਰਾਵਾਂ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਤੋਂ ਸੰਗਤ ਆਈ ਆ ਕਾਫੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਤਖਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਭਾਈ ਰਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਾਲੜੀ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਮਾਤਾ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
So guys, one thing I did want to talk about today was faith, basically, because I'm showing you that we visit all these historical places, which is great. I mean, we find it amazing, but in this day and age, there's so many people questioning, well, is this historical? Did this really happen? And what's the significance of it anyway? And there's so much of this coming out now on social media. There's so much like negativity on social media, and I'm just do one sort of humble beinti that social media is not for us to just trash it with negativity. Let's use it to be positive. Let's use it to inspire each other. There's one point that I'd really like to make, and that is the difference. Like, I really want us to observe ourselves. So when we're in faith, we feel like we're in the rhythm of hukam, we're in the rhythm of life, and we tend to get so much more out of life. Notice your body's more relaxed, your mind is more positive and more creative, and generally you start to feel really good about yourself and good about life. But when we're at that point where we're questioning all the time, or we start going to even more extremes where we start slandering stuff, then notice how you feel. You generally feel a negative towards other people, you might not get on well with your family members, your whole body tenses up, and generally you won't be doing the things you want to do, you don't have pleasure. Just notice it. So when you start slandering or being negative against anyone, or you start questioning faith, it impacts your whole life. Like, it's good to question things, just to know, to be open-minded and think, oh, I wonder why this happened. That's brilliant, go for that. But when you start saying, no, this didn't happen. I mean, one example is if somebody says, oh, how do you know that took place in the 17th century? How do you know this person did such amazing things? Well, in a way, we know our forefathers from our family lineage. How do we know that my great-great-great-great-grandfather's name was so-and-so? I don't know, I can't prove it, I wasn't there. But I'm on faith, I go on faith and trust that my parents have brought down this from my forefathers, it's been passed on, this information. So remember, just observe yourselves, because this is, whenever I'm passing on something, it's always from my life experience. I never talk from something that I'm not gone through. Years ago, I wasn't so sure whether I wanted to come into Sikhi or is there faith or anything. Obviously, I've told you in my other vlogs about my own journey. But what I haven't picked up is that when you're in faith and you don't spend time being negative against things, you just be positive and go with it, and understand that there's no end to gyan, there's no end to knowledge. It's like a bottomless pit, or bottomless ocean. So when we go to these asthans, when we go to these historical places, we feel really uplifted, and we go there with an open mind and we take what we need to take. That's all I can advise for anyone else visiting India or any other place that's historical. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time and give you more updates from this wonderful place. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.